If we're not backed by Don, call the president.
Hey guys, welcome to my arcade tour, December 2021. What I think I'll do is put some chapters down in the description here, just so if you want to skip any of these parts, you can. I'm going to talk about some of my collectibles, some of my arcade games, and my sound system / home theater setup. So let's get into it. We'll start with our games. The first one here is the Midway Legacy cabinet, which is from Arcade 1UP, obviously. I made this riser for it, custom riser, which I outlined in a little bit more detail on my Instagram page for Planet POW. The riser is custom, obviously. I just put some LEDs behind the laser cut, CNC cut for the wood. And then up here, some custom, very high-res graphics. They don't look that great on the video, I'm sure, but essentially they've got the fatalities and all of the moves for all the characters from Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3. And moving up, some just custom bats for the joysticks there. The control panel is pretty stock other than the tops of the joysticks. I put a 19-inch monitor in here, and I put my own sound system in as well with a little amp and stuff, which isn't a big deal. I ordered this custom marquee as well from the States. I don't know for anyone here who's international will be aware of this, but in Australia the Arcade 1UPs don't usually come with light up marquees. Some do. My NBA Jam does, for example, but not a lot of them come standard. Looks a bit washed out here in the video, but it looks like much nicer in real life. Obviously, it's the Mortal Kombat 1 artwork, and I kept the wooden marquee and just put it underneath the artwork down here because it just fit in perfectly. So you got Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. The artwork on the side is so cool already that it's sort of, I just kept it. And moving on, here's my Buck Hunter machine that I modded with. Obviously I've got my own buck on the front there with the antlers, which is like $30 or something on eBay. That looks just cool on the front. Again, wooden marquee, which I've changed down the bottom there. And then my guns are stock, obviously. The sound system is now modded with a sub and 2 additional speakers. So it includes that speaker in the middle there, and then 2 speakers at the top, and then a sub in the actual unit itself. Of course, the screen, no one's playing with a 17-inch screen with this game. It just makes it so much harder and less fun. As soon as I put this 42-inch screen on the front, it was just like, this is maybe the biggest draw card to my arcade now. Mainly because every game's different. It's just awesome. It just continues to be fun and challenging, and you can play up to 4 people and all that stuff. Super cool addition to the arcade, this one. Especially if you've got like people coming over who aren't into video games that much. Anyone can play Buck Hunter, so it's a good, unique kind of game to have in your arcade. The marquee is from an actual Buck Hunter arcade machine. I think I'm going to replace the actual like the I don't know what to call it, but the sort of the plastic with the print on it inside the marquee, because it's got a couple of holes and stuff in it, but you can see it's from an actual working machine back in the day. But that's awesome, that thing, I love it. And the unit, I just basically attached it to the top of the Arcade 1UP, which, by the way, I modified quite a bit at the side here, which is a bit ugly, but I had to basically make room at the side for the TV bracket to get mounted on the front. Anyway, I love that machine. Here's my custom virtual pinball machine, Evil Dead themed. It was made by a company called Retroplay here in Australia. It's got so much stuff in it. Obviously, it's got the 3 screens, but I've done a full review on this too, which I'll leave a link in below if you want to go and look at this machine in a bit more detail. But basically, 300 and something tables are in here. It's got solenoids everywhere, subs, shakers, gear motors, the accelerometer, everything you can think of that should go into a pinball machine is in this machine. Obviously, a lot of pinball machines that you get don't have any of that stuff, so you can't really feel the ball moving around and rattling around, and nothing shakes or moves. You can tilt this machine. You can do pretty much everything to it that you can with a normal pinball machine. And I love pinball, so I grew up playing these things in the 90s particularly, and obviously just was very worried, or I should say dubious, about a virtual pinball machine. But this thing feels like a real pinball machine for sure. Obviously as well, then you've got all the different tables and stuff. Anyway, as I said, if you want to look into that a bit more, I've got a review of it down in my in the description for this video. There's the custom topper that I made for it, which is obviously Evil Dead themed. Hail to the King, baby. Chainsaw there, and then on the side, some Evil Dead artwork and stuff. Super cool. Have a look at it in my review if you're interested. Okay, this is the first machine I ever made, and again, I've done a review on this already, so I'll leave a description down below. But this is my Big Trouble in Little Chinatown themed arcade machine. It's running what is called an arcade blaster, which is essentially like it's a MAME cabinet. Oh, sorry, it's a Raspberry Pi essentially inside of a little unit that's already pre-configured for the controllers. So you literally put the box inside the machine, and then you have to just plug in to it with a jammer harness. Super easy, straightforward. All the games are loaded. All the games are already configured. All that stuff. Awesome. I did a review, as I said, on this machine. If you want to have a look at it, please do. I made this from the ground up. Artwork, T-molding, buttons, joysticks, sound system. Obviously, as I say, the arcade blaster. I designed the marquee. All this stuff was done by a company called Noodle Shirt in Australia. If you're in Australia and you want artwork, talk to those guys. They're awesome. Noodle Shirt is their name. And yeah, obviously there's all the Big Trouble artwork, which is cool. I've got my Street Fighter 2 arcade 1-up stool that goes with that. Someday down the line, I'll probably do a custom Big Trouble stool. But yeah, this machine's kind of like what you would expect, I guess, if you know anything about these cabinets, about, you know, Raspberry Pi setups. You've got Super Nintendo arcade games, 2,236 arcade games, Atari, Game Gear, Game Boy, Sega Master System, you know, Mega Drive, Nintendo, all that stuff. So pretty awesome. I think in total about 6,000 games or something, maybe. I could be wrong, maybe 4,000, I'm not sure. Anyway, enough to keep you going, I promise you that much. Awesome cabinet. Cool menus, all that sort of stuff. Very cool, very cool. Love this machine. It gets a lot of play, this thing. Okay, moving on. There's my Bones Brigade wall. Anyone who was born in the late 70s or 80s, early 80s, will probably appreciate these guys. I was born in 1980, so when I was 7, 8, skateboarding was very big, and I was very much into it for many years after. And that's my Bones Brigade wall. So just a quick stop there. Moving on, NBA Jam. I have done almost nothing to this machine. I think it's pretty cool as it is, and to be honest with you, I don't really think anyone's playing 4 players on this thing. Maybe they are. It's a 3/4 arcade. It would be a little bit tough, but also the screen's only 17 inches. I think for 2 people, it's fine. Absolutely fine. You can totally sit 2 people in front here. Obviously, I've added some stickers with all the NBA teams, except for the Clippers, because who cares about them? But then, obviously, that's got the light-up marquee. And everything else is pretty stock standard here. You'll see some of the US units have like LEDs around the control panel. Australian version obviously does not. We were lucky to get the light up marquee, to be honest. There's my full-size, life-size Iron Man, which is pretty awesome. I love this thing. I put it in a while back. I've got some pictures of my putting it in on the Planet POW Instagram page, which I'll leave a link to in the description too, if you want to go and have a look at that or any of the other stuff. This one here, this is cool. This is my arcade machine, which has a Pandora's box inside of it. So the beauty of this machine, of course, is that over here on my Big Trouble cabinet, we've got a Raspberry Pi running all the MAME stuff and everything else. And then over here, we've got a Pandora's box. So it's kind of got all the arcade machines in this one. And then obviously over in this one, all of the console machines. Now, this Big Trouble is what I mainly play when I want to play console games, particularly Super Nintendo games. And then over here, I've got the Pandora's box. I think my wife's buying me for Christmas the new Pandora's box, which has, I think, 8,000 games on it, including all the consoles as well. So essentially, when people come over here, they can choose this machine or the other one. Yeah, so you'll basically have all the consoles, all the arcade games, through that period, up to PlayStation 1, I think, Dreamcast, all that stuff. So hopefully after Christmas, I might do a review on that too. So they're my machines. So moving on now to my home theatre setup, I have got down the front here. So I've got two massive speakers on the ground there, which were used in a PA system. They're not connected. They're just there for show. They just look awesome sitting out in front. Obviously on the top there, you've got the center speaker, center channel speaker. I've got a sub down on the left, my front left speaker, which these are Dali speakers. They're beautiful. And then another sub there down on the right. Here is, obviously I've got my Nintendo Wii hooked up to this, so there's only one sub on because they only play up to 5.1, whereas this setup is 7.2. So here's my speakers, my surround speakers that are all around the outside of my theatre lounge. So I've got 4 speakers and then 2 at the front and a center channel, so that's 7.2 with my subs. You can see here I've got my Wii on, Donkey Kong Country, which is pretty cool, fun, but it's definitely not what I usually play down here. Up in the cabinet itself, I've got a Nintendo 64 with GoldenEye and Mario Kart and all that stuff. I bought one of those wireless controllers. I've got a couple of wireless controllers for the 64, which work great. So you can sit on the couch and play GoldenEye just like you used to, except now it's on a 130-inch projector screen. Nintendo Wii in there as well, my VHS player, and my receiver. So just a quick look at my receiver. This is a Denon, and it is, again, I think this thing supports up to 9.2 channels. Crazy. This thing is awesomely cool and has everything you can imagine on the back of it as far as inputs go. So that's basically my media cupboard, and all my speakers and stuff are at the back. You can see I've been drilling down there, just something I was fixing up from a wiring point of view. Very, very good, this thing. I've got an Amazon Fire Stick hooked up to this, so we can come down here and watch movies through Netflix and all that stuff on the couch. The beauty of this, of course, is that all of the stuff on Netflix now is in Dolby Atmos and 4K and stuff. So that brings me to my projector, which is up the top here. This is a Sony VPL something. It was about $14,000 retail. I didn't have to pay that, luckily, but that's what this thing came out at. It's a 3D 4K projector. It's incredible. It works pretty good during the day, by the way. I've got the blinds down over here and in the corner. You can still see it's daylight outside, but basically the picture on this thing is amazing. And I've got all the lights on too in here. Here's what it looks like with all the lights off. And essentially that's how it looks while we're watching movies and stuff any time of the day, but particularly at night. So yeah, super cool. I'll go into something else in the media cabinet in 1 second because I'll just explain what I can do in there. Upstairs, I have a PS5 in the lounge room and I have a PS4 in my bedroom. The PS4 in the bedroom essentially is used as a media server. Basically, we watch Disney Plus and stuff on it. But now we'll start looking at my collectibles, and it's probably a good transition here to talk quickly about my consoles. So I've got another working PS4 here, a PS3, a PS2, and a PS1. Obviously, I've got a Vita as well, but that's not that much. It doesn't get much use anymore. The PS2 one 1, 2, 3, and 4 all work perfectly. So all I have to do is take them down, plug them in over here. I've got HDMI into this bloody receiver's got like 10 HDMI inputs or something. So it's got that. I can just take one down very quickly, plug it in, and get busy. So we'll move on to the rest of the collectibles. Basically here, starting on the right here, this is my Predators and Alien collection. Pretty awesome. I love these things. They look so good. I've only just recently put LEDs up the top, on the top of the cabinet, just to give a bit of lighting for the figurines and stuff that were up the top. So obviously there's a Predator and an Alien fighting. There's another Alien. Aliens mostly, and then yeah, my Predators mostly. Quick mention here to Dutch up the back here in the mud. It's bloody impossible to find actual Dutch figurines that aren't like $1,000. Bishop, and obviously Ripley. And here's Amanda Ripley, who, if you follow my Instagram page, you'll have seen before I've written stuff about Alien Isolation. I think it's one of the best games ever made. It's particularly the best game in the Alien universe that I've ever seen on a PC or a console or an arcade. Awesome. Anyway, Amanda Ripley from Alien Isolation. Up the top there, we've got Hulk holding the Vita. There's an alien skull. Here is a small selection of my PS3 and PS2 and Wii games. I think this is going to get cleaned up at some point because it's a bit of a shambles up there. I might think of some shelving to go in down here that I can put all my games and DVDs and stuff on. Moving down quickly, Ace Ventura, Freddy, Tales from the Crypt Keeper, Beetlejuice, Raiden, and there is a Big Daddy from BioShock, which is also an awesome game. This is a little Mario, I suppose, display that I've made. I bought a bunch of them and then made the backdrop myself just to go behind them, which I think looks cool. Again, who knows how long this will last. This is kind of the first stuff I set up, so I have a lot of gaps and places I want to change things, but it's a good start. Fallout, I love Fallout. Fallout 4 is so cool, loved it. Here is some of my collection of my James Bond vehicles. Diamonds Are Forever, GoldenEye, Thunderball, Goldfinger, more GoldenEye stuff. I've got a few more too. There's Die Another Day down the bottom. But yeah, I've got a few more that I'm going to put up soon. Over here, I've just been doing some drilling to put in my lighting. So this should actually be over here and this little guy should be over here. But basically, this is my Batman, part of my Batman display. I've got to clean up that cable at the back there. But that's part of my Batman display, followed by this section. And this young lady should be over here, actually. So there's Joker, Arkham version of Joker, Batman, and Catwoman, Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. My favourite. And some stuff up the top here very quickly. Some couple of tubs and stuff. Batman, Spider-Man head, Hulkbuster, Mandalorian, some basketball stuff, and yeah, there we go down the end. In here, I've got my favourite comic book character, the Punisher. I've only got 2 Punisher things, which is surprising. Prince, Venom, Biff, Teen Wolf, Dean Tierney, Blade, Back to the Future, and there's my James Bonds. Here are my Lego heads, Batman, Carnage, Venom, Stormtrooper, Iron Man, Boba Fett. Up the top, just a couple of weird things, which again, I need to fill out this cupboard a bit better, this shelf a little bit better, but Chewie, Iron Man, Jango Fett, another Iron Man, Darth Vader, Han Solo, another Iron Man. Up the top, Magic, Jordan and Kobe on his left and right. So yeah, so there's my shelves. Down the bottom here, I've got one of the engineers from Alien and Prometheus sitting there in this. I think this is actually officially, this is called Space Jockey when you buy it. I just thought it was cool. It goes on top of my microwave. Down below here, we've got my Grim Fandango fridge wrap. My fridge has got basically drinks and chocolates and stuff like that. Pretty sweet. Moving on up, here's my iPad, which controls all the lighting in here. So you can basically go in and change any of the lighting options and the power. I don't know if you can see that properly. There it is. So you can change basically all the lighting in here and power on and off machines and everything basically in this room can be controlled through this app, through this iPad, through the app. I've also got the app on my phone, so if I'm upstairs and I realise I forgot to turn something off, I can just do it from bed, which is awesome. This is I just talked about this on Instagram recently. This is my new purchase. It turned up 2 days ago. It's a half skateboard with Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition character select on the bottom. I haven't actually mounted it yet. I don't know where it's going to go, but it's super cool. I'm thinking about maybe putting it above my arcade in the corner there, my Pandora's Box arcade. Moving on, here are some signed pictures. I'll start on the right here, because behind here I've got Michael Douglas from Falling Down. That was a gift. I love it. Ripley, had to get Ripley, so she signed that. Sigourney Weaver in inverted commas Ripley. Clint Eastwood, hand signed. Dirty Harry, one of my favourite movies of all time as well. David Lee Roth, you know, everyone loves David Lee Roth. Bruce Campbell, Army of Darkness picture there. Actually, sorry, it might be Evil Dead 2, that picture. But yeah, obviously from the trilogy. And as you can see from my pinball machine, I'm a big fan of those movies. Harrison Ford, hand signed. Blade Runner. Hugh Jackman, hand signed. Obviously Wolverine. There's my Batman animated series figurine. This thing's about 32 centimeters tall. Super cool, love it a lot. Here's my framed picture of the final shot of The Shining, which not everyone picks up on when they come in here, but I love that movie also. Moving over very quickly, got my Kobe picture, Lakers banner, and above the door I have my Punisher War Machine helmet. I love the Punisher, as I said. Fallout 4, or Fallout 3 actually, I think, is technically where these the power armor helmet is from. And Darth Vader. Everyone loves Darth Vader. You can take these off. They're just on helmet stands that I mounted to the wall. And you can wear them. They're all full size. Around the edge here, I've got my LEDs that surround the cinema screen, essentially. All of these can obviously be changed to whatever. And I've got I've got an Alexa there on top of my microwave, which I use to change lighting and stuff in here to suit movies or games or whatever we're doing. A quick extra point that I want to make here very quickly is that next week I have, for anyone who's noticed those two guns in there, the blue and the red guns, they are for the Wii, and I have House of the Dead 2, 3, and what's the other one called? The other Wii game, the other House of the Dead game that came out on the Wii, I have coming next week. So that the point of this essentially is that we're going to have all the arcade machines going over Christmas, plus we're going to be able to play House of the Dead on the big screen. You can see maybe very faintly at the bottom of the projector screen there, I've got my Dolphin Bar for the Wii. So that will be very cool. I'm going to do a video on that too, because I think playing House of the Dead on this big screen in 5.1 surround is going to be a cool experience. Oh, I forgot about Predator up here. He's probably one of my more expensive figurines, this guy. Well, not a figurine, a bust, I would say. It's a half-scale bust, but it's huge still. And obviously he's got his laser sighting there. And I think just the attention to detail overall is just awesome. Look at the dreads and the paint and stuff. Anyway, that pretty much brings me to the end of the tour for this year. That's right. The name of that House of the Dead game, I think, is Overkill, but I'll do a review of that before the end of January. Hope you all have a great break. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, stay tuned. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.